Alrighty, I think we're back here again. I think if my computer wants to survive. Let's see here. Let me close a few things. And actually, let's close this. Hello, everybody who is probably watching this back. Because I don't think anybody's here right now. I'm trying to clean up my screen here and get started. I'm a little late. Punctuality is not my strong suit this season, but I'm doing my best. Doing my best. Speaking of, I need to... Oh, there we go. Need to go ahead and get that there link, which it does not want me to do. Don't really understand what's happening. There we go. I bet this is riveting. We're here today to talk... Yeah, close that program. We're here to talk the newest episode of Chucky, and I'm trying to get my bearings. This is not what I want. All right. Again, I would have loved to have actually gotten like Streamlabs to work before streaming this week, but it didn't happen. I wish it did. Didn't happen. Let me move this. Take a little picture. But yes, if you ever just get through this part, if you're watching it back, probably already did. Perfect. If you're looking for waveforms, I'm sorry to get you to stop. All right. This is a little thing. We're there, so actually, I'm going to get my notes. Because this past week we had... Make sure all this is good. This past week was the season finale, and I'm excited to talk about it. I'm excited to see what people thought about it. It's gotten a lot of praise. It's gotten a bit of hate, which is fair. Had some conversations about this recently with some folks, and I think it's okay to talk about. And I think it's okay to talk about the stuff that you don't like. Totally fine. This is not going down at all. Like, it's just a little too tall. There we go. I want it to like level with that shelf. All right, this is better space wise. But yeah, very interesting season. Very interesting direction. It seems that they want to take things, or are intending to want to take things, kind of set them up. I'm gonna actually open up the lighting just a wee bit in here. But yeah, very interesting, very ballsy season, very inventive season. I will say one thing that gets pluses for me every single season is when you're watching it, you're not going to get the same exact thing you got last season. What's what here? That's not the ambient lighting I want. I want to keep that purple back there. And so yeah, we're able to get just a little. Wait, what the fuck? Why did it? Oh, I'm in the same one. There we go. That's the one I want. The lights of my camera's picking them up all weird. Let me take that down a bit, I guess. And let me take these all the way up. Oh my God. What is that doing? You know what? I'm not fucking with this. I'm not spending any more time. I'm like 5 minutes into this and I haven't talked about anything useful. we're going to change this over to a different color. We're going to change it to, I don't like that. What about this? Oh, it's freaking my camera out. There we go. We're going to leave it like that. Oh my God. What the fuck? What is wrong with this thing? Can I get any color that doesn't make it want to kill itself? You know what? I'm thinking. Yeah, we're just gonna have to rock that back one and then give me this one up front too. Yeah. Color's too much for that camera. But anyway, this is why I'd really like to be able to use Streamlabs so I can do this type of stuff before I'm actually doing this. Because it never, when I'm actually streaming, it never actually looks the way it does in the little program I use. So I like to be able to toy with it and not make you guys have your eyes blown out by seeing the colors go all wacky. But yeah. So it's been a few minutes now. Did I have anything to share? I don't think I got anything. What I did get was something I got a while ago that I'll go ahead and share in the meantime is these. So I went to a convention, God, 2 months ago. And I got a whole bunch of these because I'm trying to follow suit and deck out some stuff with some stickers. So I got this pretty, I don't know. There was a name on like the designer who did this one, but because they did a few of them. I got a new Nightmare Freddy. I got my girl, our girl. I got this one straight from Trick or Treat Studios booth. Kind of funny. Don't know what to do with that. Don't know what I want to put that on, but this because is very topical. I kind of want to put this on the actual CRT that I have right behind the microphone there after I just fucking punched it. This one is super pretty. Ooh, these ones I forgot I got. You got the Necronomicon. Got the Tall Man. That's the other thing also this week. I'm not actually repping a Chucky t-shirt. This is actually brand new. I believe this is Cavity Colors. This is one of their anniversary buy or dies for Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So I had to get that because I love that movie. If you've never seen New Nightmare, I'm sure you have, but go see it. It's some really good meta horror. Years before Chucky was doing it. I got this Jason. I got a lot of pretty ones I kind of forgot I got. I'm glad to go through these because even I forgot. I also got, let's see, this one right here is pretty good. It's an actual bumper, an actual one you can put on your bumper sticker ready, whatever. And then this one, which is my probably my favorite. And I had to get 2 of these just because I want to stick this on something, and then I don't want to be worried about never having it again. So, yeah, shout out to the artist that made that, or made all of these. I got them from like 12 different booths. Maybe not that many, but quite a few. But I don't think I have anything collection upgrade wise. One thing, can I do this? There we go. One thing I do have is this area back here. I have this poster hung up, which I don't think I had last week. I might have, but you can see it's signed right there. And I got the Good Guy doll moved over here, and yeah, it's just kind of all full out now as compared to the first week we did this, and it was not. So over the 4 weeks of this half season, my setup has been able to evolve and kind of flourish again while I get it all set up. But yeah, it's been a good time. It's been fun to actually set it up, and hopefully I can get some time to work on that little fella right there, the ultimate Chucky head that I'd like to turn into a Child's Play 2. I believe I've sourced the eyes that I want to use, but I've not found what I want to do with the mouth yet, or the overalls. I kind of want to get him a different pair of overalls and sweater, but I don't know which ones I want to go with yet. So yeah, we're gonna do a quick pass here real quick, and then I should probably start talking about the thing that we're here for, which is Chucky, which is Chucky season three's finale that just aired this past Wednesday, and had a few days to sit there and digest it, and it was wacky. It's definitely a silly one. Where, oh, where are my notes? What did I do with them? Where is that set of? There we are. Found my notes. But yeah, kind of hoping there was a couple people here because I've had a few folks past couple of weeks, and the main reason is, I mean, talking to people is always more fun. But I've been able to have some really good conversation. A lot of points that I either didn't think of or able to bounce some ideas off folks. So here's hoping because man, like this episode was so interesting. Like it had a lot going on, and I want to know what people thought about it. Like there's so many high concept things. So one of the things that the episode kind of starts out with is the idea of like, oh yeah, like is Jake gonna die? And as soon as they mention it, I kind of talked about it throughout this half season. I thought if they were gonna kill somebody or kill one of the trio, it would be Jake. And so they do it really interestingly to kind of hype up that, oh yes, we're gonna kill him, and then we don't kill him. Obviously, we don't. Or do we? Or did we kill all of them? We'll get to the end part, but uh hyping this up, he's going to actually do what no other like Chucky protagonist has done, which is the most ballsy thing, and it's to follow Chucky into the spirit realm, which again is kind of nutty. Like take Andy Barkley and take, Nika, take anybody, and nobody's ever been like, I'm going to kill myself so that I can fight him as a ghost. I know that that wasn't the main goal, but also kind of crazy. Like I wouldn't have done that. We got follow-ups on Good Chucky. We got Jake trying to double down on saying that Good Chucky's a real thing, and everybody, including actually Chucky himself, is like finally revealed. I think I there was some, kind of discrepancy, or not discrepancy, it's probably like too dramatic, but there was some like curiosity and some people looking for confirmation of what did that mean? Did that mean that, Good Chucky doesn't exist? Does that mean that, Good Chucky does exist, but he gets, is it a personality thing? And no, I think it's safe to say that like good Chucky does not exist. That is not a thing. It doesn't exist in any way, shape, or form. It exists only to fuck with Jake, to gaslight him, and it's kind of Jake's fault for letting it work. But yeah, I took that in this episode as confirmation that good Chucky in season two did not ever truly exist, and he sure as hell does not exist now in the afterlife. So I thought it was cool to bring back up good Chucky and to kind of put a nail in that coffin. Um, I think a lot of folks, including myself, were always kind of curious, was good Chucky real? Because it's always good to get confirmation. Kind of figured he wasn't, but again, maybe he is. Maybe it is some that I don't know. But I took the answers in this episode as no, don't count on it. We got to see the return of the Colonel. We got to see the return of Buff Chucky. They're all dead up there in the spirit world. So I find it kind of interesting because you have so many different versions of Chucky there. And I can't tell if it's like him using parts of his soul just to mess with people. It's all pretty much the greatest hits of the TV series, even the bits of the TV series that Jake wouldn't even know. Like we had Tyler Babbage back as like teenage Charles Lee Ray, and we had like the young child version of Charles Lee Ray back. We have Fiona Dourif back as Charles Lee Ray, which I thought it was interesting too when they had Fiona as Charles Lee Ray in this episode. They didn't do the voice thing, so when we saw Nika as him in the past, they always had it dubbed over with Brad Dourif. But I guess the one thing that really kind of made sense why they didn't do that is the scene where they're discussing back and forth, and you could have easily have done that and dubbed that over with Brad. But I think to look past the camera aspect of it and what that scene is and how it's Fiona and Brad actually sharing the screen together and actually going back and forth with each other. You lose some of that if you just dub over Fiona with two Brads, and then you have just him yelling at himself. You lose a little bit, I guess, of that magic and kind of um, actual heart of, oh yeah, both of these characters are this one character is being portrayed by two different people who are, very closely related. Very cool. I also had the epiphany that recently there was with the MonsterVerse, there was the um Godzilla, or I don't think it was called Godzilla. It was the Legacy of Monsters centered show, and that series has an older Kurt Russell, and he is hanging out with, or not hanging out, but he's actually the same character that his son Wyatt Russell is in that series. So it follows the same guy all throughout time, and I think that's interesting. And I think that technically, to a degree, Chucky did that first with season one by having Fiona Dourif, Brad Dourif's real life daughter, play a younger version of Charles Lee Ray. Um, so they were already onto something there. And I think when you have something like Monarch and them talking about like, oh, how special that is, it brings like to, again, this is special. So very interesting to see them actually be able to interact as Charles Lee Ray with each other. I didn't mind. It was kind of neat that it was just the Nika Chucky voice. And again, that's just Fiona Dourif doing her best Chucky, which is really good. And somebody else who's able to do a damn good Chucky is Zachary Arthur. Like, so it was it was kind of assumed by a lot of folks that he was going to get possessed by Chucky, which he did. Jake does end up getting possessed by Chucky, and we get to see Zachary Arthur um, technically play Chucky. So that's something, again, another like realization I had the other day that makes the Chucky series different and interesting compared to everyone else, is that, you'll never move away from the good guy doll. Like, that's always going to exist. That's always going to be the point. And I think if you get rid of the good guy doll, the like Chucky doesn't really exist. You could do it in spin-offs or mini series, whatever, about other characters, but Chucky himself, once you get rid of this, you lose it. And so the fact that you have a character like that in certain times or in certain ways you can have other actors play him. You don't have that for anybody else. I mean, okay, sure, Jason, you do. Anybody? I don't want to say anybody because I feel like that downplays the actors that have. But multiple actors have played Jason Voorhees. Multiple actors have played Michael Myers, and it's an easy role, I'd say, to kind of step into because you're filling in a presence, a physical performance. Whereas with Chucky, it's visceral. It's, there's a voice to it. There's a cadence. There's a switch that you have to be able to turn. And I think the fact that we've gotten so many characters or so many actors able to actually play Chucky is really great. Fiona Dourif has played Chucky. Zachary Arthur has played Chucky now. Devon Sawa has technically played Chucky. So, yeah, I think that's something that's cool and, again, makes Chucky different. But we do get to see Jake possessed by Chucky, and that's a great time, honestly, because we actually get to see something that Chucky always wanted, which was to get Jake to kill. And I think it's funny because it's the first thing that Chucky says to him after. But while watching that scene, I don't know who else did. I'm sure other folks did. I thought that they might have dubbed him over with Brad, or maybe they did this thing where they matched up the voices and, they're playing Brad and interlining it. No, that was apparently like all Zachary Arthur. That was all him. And they had like the after episode thing where they, talk about making it and have the interviews with the cast and everything. And that you have Zachary Arthur and Brad Dourif talking on set and them discussing, how that they would go back and forth and, he would, try to get the voice and Brad would tell him, no, you gotta correct it. You gotta, it's more nasally. You gotta speak in the, you gotta do that instead of speaking with your chest. And I think just so cool. Like he's getting pointers on set from the guy. And look, I think Zachary Arthur did great. There's a bunch of stuff in this episode that people are like weirded out about. And I'm glad that Jake Chucky is a good thing in it. The thing that I really loved about Jake Chucky is how it was intentionally for us, the audience, but not in the show, but how like unironically funny he was being. And it shows how Chucky views Jake as just kind of like this huge puss because every time he tries to bring something up, I love that Jake's just like, it was too bad. I don't even want to talk about it. Don't even ask me about it. I thought that was funny because Jake isn't really like that. Obviously that's the funny part about it, but I like that he kept reverting to that. He kept being like, "Oh, it was so bad. I don't even know. God, just hurts." Um, I like that that's Chucky's perception of Jake. Another part in this episode that we got was kind of just a neat little character moment, and we got to see how Jake and Chucky kind of interact in the spirit realm with each other on a plane where neither of them can die. Neither of them are really in danger because of the other in that way. And I don't think Chucky is probably bullshitting. Again, I think people confuse certain things. I don't think Chucky likes Jake or anything like that. Um, oh, here we go. Sorry. What's up, Mario? Welcome, welcome. I just got my chat to reload finally. I've been trying to be patient with it, and now it's finally actually going up. So I'll catch up here in just a second. But yeah, to actually get that performance from him, and then as soon as he wakes up, he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, Jake, you actually killed somebody. Congratulations." I love that. Oh, what's up, Slasher Fanatic? Also here, or at least was here. I hope you're still here. Welcome, welcome. Uh, Welcome, Mario. Again, I thank y'all for coming to hang out. This is always fun. Sorry, I wish I'm reading the wrong thing. That would be interesting if the brainwashing did actually work and there was a good Chucky that just slowly kind of started to revert back. Um, I like that the spirit of Chucky or Chuck, whatever it is, like created like this fake room and this area to kind of make it look like, oh yeah, no, this is like where good Chucky rests and all that. Um, and it's just a charade. Yeah, we did get to see clips from the first. They do that. They like to get the rights to the first movie whenever they can. They like to show it a lot. I think that might have been the first time that clips from that were shown in the TV series. Um, and I'm glad that they did because there's something cathartic to actually get those specific scenes because it's, the first time we have Brad back really in the flesh, at least in current times, as Charles Lee Ray to be able to look back at a screen of him the first time he did it. Again, it's Chucky. It's going to be super meta. Yeah, I hate violence, as you know. That was the other thing when they open John Waters opens his door and he's like, "This is Devin, the light of my life. We're homosexuals." Um, just so funny because again, like, that's just how Chucky views it. He breaks Jake down to a very narrow, um, like stereotype, and yeah, I appreciate it. I loved. Okay, so that's another note I had in here as well was the scene with Jake and his dad. Loved that scene. Now, like, it's weird because like I love movies and all of that, and I think an expressive art form. I think it's easy to put yourself in there when you're writing, when you're directing, when you're doing that. And I think it's a great way to express that. And man, like that's a scene where like whenever I see that in movies or anything like this, where like I don't want to say Chucky is small, but Dom Mancini has actively said that if I'm able to, have a voice and if I'm able to express certain things and do that through Chucky, then I will. And I think that's beautiful. So to have like a young, knowing Dom Mancini's personal story and to have a scene with a young gay guy and to not be able to reconcile with his father and to have a moment for that to be able to say I forgive you, to give himself the opportunity to forgive his dad for the horrible things he did. It's not saying it's okay, it's not saying that what you did was right, but he forgives it. He acknowledges, you were doing the best you could, you were going through a lot, and that's like a type of humanity that I think is hard to capture, and I think that scene does it really well. Lots of movies do it well, but on a small scale like this, like I just watching that scene, in knowing too much about Don Mancini, I could tell where that came from, and it really got me. And yeah, I even saw an interview too where he talked about it, and he talked about it as that's kind of a lot of gay kids' fantasy is to be able to have that type of closure, that type of whatever it is, embrace with somebody who, for whatever reason, it didn't go that way. So I thought that was just beautiful. I don't know how else to put it. I thought it was beautiful. Um, yes, it is actually. This is my smartwatch, and and yes, is the Omnitrix. I fucking love the Omnitrix. So Ben 10 is like one of my favorite series when I was a kid, and I actually got it's on a little stand, so we got to like pick up the whole stand. But this is I went to a convention a few years ago, and this is one of the toy Omnitrixes, but it's signed by Paul Lighting, who was the original voice of Grandpa Max. So yeah, man, I fucks heavy with some Ben 10. But yeah. Oh, I hit that giant transformer. My bad. All right, that's fine. Yeah, seeing with his dad was just top tier. Trying to think. I really, really loved the scene too with Grant when he got to when he's leaving the White House that's on fire and he looks back into the window and he can see his dad and he can see Joseph. And I thought that was interesting too because we all kind of assumed, but I think the other thing about that moment is like it confirms that like when we saw Joseph in the White House and at the Halloween party and all of this stuff like that was actually him. Like that kid's ghost was actually there. I thought that was interesting. Just a little like, yes, that was legit. Yeah, man, absolutely. That's awesome. I have some of the action figures and stuff too. One of my I did videos a long time ago. One of the things I did was a damn video on one of those Omnitrixes, and yeah, it was popular because nobody talked about it. But yeah, I love Ben 10. Ben 10 is cool as shit. Absolutely some crossover here. So I know Ben 10 and horror isn't, they're not the most synonymous, but it works. So we're out here. Trust me. Um, what was something else? Oh, Price. Price dying like a really horrible way. So that shot, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, and even if you're watching this back, but that shot of Price screaming in the trailer that I was waiting for didn't explicitly happen. It might have been like an alternate take or something like that for the scene where he's like just on fire. But I didn't see any effects for it or anything like that. And most of the fire effects for this were done in post. I saw a lot of remarks about the visual effects for this episode and being kind of poor. Um, I understand. Like I'm the type of I have a lot of suspension of disbelief. I have like a principle when it comes to Chucky, and it's the idea that we're watching a movie or a show about a killer doll, like who we've seen jerk off. Like that is in and of itself, like the bar's pretty like high for getting me to be like, well, hold on a second, what the fuck? Um, Not to say other people can't. I totally get it. Because that's something that kind of does it for me. But yeah, um, the fire effects. Like I'm glad that we are able to get these set pieces. I'm glad that we are able to get like these dire moments without them just having to shrink it down. Like I'm. How do I word this? I'm glad that this series has big ideas and is able to pull them off with a small budget to at least a mostly believable sense to where you can say I can kind of see the wire there, instead of just abandoning it. Instead of just saying, "Hey, we understand we want to do a whole season at the fucking White House, but that's a lot of money. So let's just do it like at this regular house. Let's just kind of scrap the White House angle and let's do something small scale." Instead of having him move in with the president, let's have him move in with the mayor. Why he actually kind of already did that. Regardless, if even being the if of it even being the main like point, I'm glad that we're able to have wacky ideas, and they're like, no, we'll make it work. Yeah, we got that budget, which I want to know what the budget is for an episode of this series. I'd love to know what the budget is for like the whole season because like I just want to know what they're able to pull off because I think they are able to pull off a lot. And the one thing that I will give this season a lot of props for is the puppeteering. Like the puppeteering of old Chucky specifically, incredible. I did see some complaints of the puppeteering in the final episode, especially with somebody very very special who we got to see again. But I'm not really worried about it. We'll get into that stuff later. But I think ultimately the visual effects have been so good as far as that stuff's concerned that when they started doing the really obvious green screen smoke effects and started doing the pasting of the fire and everything like that, I'm just like, you know what, that's you can have it. I don't mind. Don't mind because we got the good stuff. Um, and that blood in the last episode is practical. It's just they just CGI'd Brad Dourif into it, funnily. Yeah, I don't know if I mean rushed might be the wrong or I don't want to say the wrong word. I don't know if rushed would be the word that I would use because you would think that they'd have more time. Like you would think that originally they would have more time to do that. But I'm also curious. So the president's death that happened in episode 5 or 6, and that was filmed before the strike. So I'm curious how much of the season was pre-strike. I know that it was about half. I know that they filmed, I think, like at least 2.5, 3 episodes post-strike. Um, but I do know that some things. So I guess we can go and talk about her. But some things that I heard was like the Tiffany doll at the very end of the episode was somebody said that that was the same doll that they used in season 1, which with a different wig, which it didn't look exactly the same. But I'm also like a lot of folks are really upset about the look of that Tiffany. I understand it. I get it. She is my girl. Like again, my absolute like favorite. Um, but I'm not like gonna judge Tiffany being back in the doll body off that one shot because again, it's the very end of the season. They had a lot of hits. Endured a strike. All of this shit that made me go, okay, look, when we get Tiffany back in Genuine and where she's on Spotlight, they're gonna be able to put more time into her. They're gonna be able to craft another puppet. They're gonna be able to make something look a lot better. Um, yeah, exactly. They were able to pull it off, and I'm fine with it. I don't think she looked bad. Um, and we saw her for a couple of seconds. She was macking plastic tongue with Chucky. Like, come on. Um, yeah, I'm not even worried about it. The other thing too. All right, so to talk about Tiffany, like it happened. We actually got it. So Mario, I know that you've been here for quite a few of these past few weeks, and one thing that I've been wanting that I've been saying since this season for a minute is I really want Chucky and Tiffany to be reunited. I'd love to see them back together. So at the beginning of this episode, when they're doing the previously on Chucky, and it plays the clip of Tiffany saying "I love you, Chucky," I was like, they're not playing that for no reason. Like they're reminding you, by the way, this is something Tiffany said and is feeling. So we get to we're going all over the place for this episode, but I don't care. We get to the end. Uh, we get to the end, and she pulls up to Wendell Wilkins' house. She obviously knows about him and all that stuff. And she walk in the way she walks in, like you leave season 2, and Chucky's like, I'm gonna get you, and I'm gonna get Gigi, I'm gonna get these fucking kids, and he's bloodthirsty. And at this season, he's like it's almost like he's just happy to be alive. Like it was just so sweet. So to see them come together into their no animosity, they weren't trying to kill each other. They weren't pissed off. They didn't have anything to hash out. They both seemed genuinely happy to see each other. For one, all right. Now again, I'm gonna. What did I just do? I put the sticker away, but I just had the sticker that said, everything I learned about toxic relationships I learned from Bride of Chucky. It's true, and I understand. I have to say right off the bat, I understand and I fully accept that Chucky and Tiffany are a toxic couple. They are not something to be idolized. You should not ever hope to, in real life, be like Chucky and Tiffany. But now that we've established that they are fake, I don't give a shit. I like them as characters. Look, Chucky kills people. I don't agree with that ideologically. Okay? kiss plastic. Because there's a lot of I've gotten some pushback on that. People, "Well, you shouldn't idolize them." Look, pal, I don't. All right, they're fake. I get it. Um, because it gets compared these days to the Harley and Joker situation, which is extremely fair. You just have to have that line, be able to say that no, this is fake. It's actually not real and it's not cool. It's okay to be entertained by it. You shouldn't emulate it. Getting the obvious out of the way. I love her, and I'm so glad that they're back together, and I'm so glad Chucky got down on one fucking knee and he proposed to her again. He actively proposed. When Tiffany, when Chucky says, "Have you talked to Gigi? I miss them." Like, not only did that punch me in the heart, but then when Tiffany says, "Chucky, we could be a family again." Like, what? Everybody likes Chucky for different reasons. Everybody likes everything for different reasons. People like the seriousness of Child's Play 1 through 3. Some people like the whimsy of Bride and Seed. Some people just like Jennifer Tilly. The thing that I really like is that sect right there, that Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky era that I kind of grew up in. So to have the prospect of being able to have Gigi, doll form, alive, complete, happy, and with Chucky and doll Tiffany, we might be able to see that visual. We might be able to see that family actually come together. It's beautiful because I never, after all these years, at this point, it's like a fan theory thing that Don Mancini is like, no, we're gonna take the long way around, but we're gonna get right back there. And I just never thought we'd ever see it again. I never thought that doll Chucky and like human Tiffany and like human Glenn and Glenda, but no, to have actually all three to commit to say no, this is the Killer Doll franchise. We're gonna have all three of them as dolls. Fantastic. Um, I think that's fair. I think it's really weird too because with somebody like Tiffany, again, the thing that really got me in the last episode in episode 7 is when Nika gives that really beautiful I guess kind of eulogy from Gigi. And it's fully from Gigi and it's Gigi fully expressing that to them Tiffany was always a wonderful mom. I love that. You're gonna make me fucking like Tiffany Valentine more as a character, and then to have her child say no, she's actually a wonderful mother. Perfect. Like I don't know. It's wholesome. It's weird wholesomeness that you don't expect to get from the voodoo possessed killer doll TV series. And that's the thing that again, at the end of the day, that I think it really depends what folks want out of Chucky and what they're trying to get. And that's something that I realized about myself recently. Because a lot of folks are, able to, jive with it just fine, which is great. But sometimes I sit there and I'm like, God, I get like really excited about this. I get like invested and I think about this a lot and I think about it as a story and, motivations and characters. And I realize that that's what it is. I'm not just here anymore because of the killer doll aspect. That's the horror aspect that got me here. But I'm actively invested in the characters. Characters like Nika, Nika Pierce. I'm actively invested in where she is and where she's going. What are her goals and how is she going to get there? And with horror, I think you kind of get a pass because a lot of the characters' goals are just to survive or to not get killed or to stay out of harm's way. So their goals are usually just built into survival. Now, if you want to create a really good character, you'll give them something more than that. And I'm curious what we will get with that. What are we going to get for all of them? Now we're in a situation where all of our protagonists are quite frankly fucked, and we have no idea what's going to happen. But Andy Barclay, I'm invested into Andy Barclay as a character to where whenever he shows up on screen, I'm worried for him. Talking about Gigi and Tiffany, like I like Tiffany as a character. I don't, yeah, she's a bad person, but I don't want to see anything bad happen to her. So now I'm like that's why I do this, and I don't want to like invested is probably the right word, even though I don't want it to be. But it's not just the fun killer doll horror series. I like these characters as much as, people watch Marvel movies or any movie, any actual movie and say, oh, I connected with that character. That's what it is. And I think some people watch the Chucky films or anything, and I think that's part of why they don't give a shit about this TV series is because this TV series is about these characters and how they deal with Chucky and kind of Chucky's own escapades. It's not just Chucky stalking, it's not just pure horror. So I think the folks that don't give a shit about any of these characters, it's impossible for them to like this series. And I think that's fair. I don't think that's wrong. I just think when people don't connect with something or don't like it, or if you don't like something about it, I think there's constructive ways to go about it. And again, with Chucky season 3 in this finale, there is like a sect of people who have made it their personality to just shit on it, which if you didn't like it, I get it. But I want to talk about what parts of it do you dislike? What parts of it do you think could be done better? What parts of it, like let's actually have a conversation about like, the details of what it is instead of just shitting on it. And I feel like that with anything. Again, that's why I don't talk about like Star Wars online anymore with anybody because nobody's able to like have just a conversation about what you like and dislike. It's, I like this, and if you don't like it, you're going to fucking hell, and I hope you die. And I don't think anything silly like fiction, us talking about like a fictional horror series or Star Wars should be treated like that. So I've talked to quite a few people in this past, half week about things that they didn't like about this season. My fiance has watched it with me, all of it. And she even points out things, the effects, like during the episode, she is actively pointing out, she's like, these fire effects kind of look like shit, don't they? And so like, I have a lot of conversations about this stuff that could be done better. But, again, like my brain's just always firing off on the stuff that I dug from the episode. But I'm always down to talk about that stuff. Mario, I know that we've kind of talked back and forth about stuff that's good or bad, or I do fall in the trap of I do try to always put a positive spin on it because I want it to be positive, but not everything's gonna always be um uh black and white. It's good or bad. Like the fire effects exactly. It's like a great example. We just talked about it. I don't know if you were here for it, Alex, but that's what we were just I talked about a little bit ago is like the fire effects bad, but I look at it in a sense of like, well, the White House set has to be expensive and they have to green screen the front of it and the dolls are expensive. So, but exactly that, like for somebody watching it for what you're getting, I totally understand that. I have copium brain. Finale felt rushed in my opinion. The finale itself. So I did kind of like I didn't feel that until the finale episode actually started, and I felt like kind of the I don't want to say the opposite, but I guess in a different way. I felt like it was rushed into the last 10 minutes of the episode. I felt like a lot of the episode was really, really taking its time with a lot of things, really taking its time with Chucky Jake, really taking its time with escaping the White House, really taking the time with the spirit realm. And then you get to the point, of of them arriving at Wendell's house, and you're like, "Hold!" Like I literally did that. I looked at my watch and I was like, "We have like 9 minutes left. Like, what are they gonna do here?" Kissing Devin with Chucky was wrong. Okay, I'm gonna say to that, I didn't mind that at all. I think that is a scene that yes, a lot of folks you have to acknowledge the context. And again, there's the other side of it of this is a horror series. There's going like the fact that it's disturbing is the point. Like it's supposed to be weird. Well, he's a minor. Look, I get it, and yeah, it probably makes you look at Chucky a little weird, even though that's not a physical thing. I'm really curious. I want to hear Dom Mancini talk about that. But it reminds me of the conversation about Freddy Krueger. Everybody wants to say that I don't like the remake because they made Freddy Krueger a diddler. Okay, I respect it. However, he was always a diddler. Like watch the movies. I get that it was in the original script and they took it out. Whatever, it was there. So like sometimes your favorite serial killers are gonna fuck around with a minor, and I know that sounds weird to be like, oh yeah, that's cool, but it's to get with the disturbing aspect of it, of somebody preying on somebody, of exploitation. It's kind of part of it. That's also not sanctioning what they did with the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street. I think they thought they were doing something a lot deeper that they weren't. But to say original Freddy wasn't preying on those kids, he was. I swear. Like, watch those movies. He's like licking pictures. He sticks his like tongue through the phone into Nancy's mouth. She was like 17. Um, yeah, it really is just acting. Also because uh, it's a doll. It's a doll. I get it is very weird, but the other essence of that scene and of it being like the spiritual realm thing, it's being the essence of what Jake is like. It's just layered. Now again, yes, if it is, if here's something that I think could have been like weird, extremely weird. Take possessed Jake having sex with Devin. That then at that point, because in this episode, Chucky literally says, "I'm fucking 65." So once you get to there where it's like intentional, it's like it is exploitative of this older soul, this older character actively, sexually advancing it. Then you get into this weird, you get into this red tape. But with what we got, I do think some folks are really, really excited about it when it's like the fact that you're freaked out by it is kind of the shock value point of it. It's also the shot. My thing, it's hard for me to get upset about the shot because I think it looks hilarious. It looks so funny. Like, I can't help but sit there and imagine poor Bjorgman Arnarsson getting directed on how he's going to kiss this fucking Chucky puppet. Like, I can't believe that. Imagine showing up to set as a kid his age, realizing, this is what I'm shooting today. This is what I get to do. I get directed to kiss Chucky. Like, I don't, I think the whole thing was deliberately made to be awkward, is what I'm saying. Um, I think that's honestly fair. Like, it didn't always gel with you. I think there's a lot of stuff. Season two, um, I liked season two. Jake is Chucky was so freaking good, so good. I loved it. But Chucky season two, in my opinion. So if we're gonna talk about the series as they rank, I think season one is probably the most solid, probably even the most like cathartic. I think it kicks starts a new story with these new characters, new protagonists, and weaves it into the existing, Cult of Chucky cliffhanger really well. I really, really loved it. I think this season was definitely the most ambitious of them. Whether or not a sixth landing can be talked about, but I think season two, at least for me, is probably the lowest tiered of the TV series seasons. I really enjoyed season two. Season two is technically Seed of Chucky 2 with how much Glenn Glenda we got. But there's a few things with season two where it just feels waffly. A few things where it just doesn't. It feels like they just picked the first idea instead of picking, an interesting one. Um, and a lot of it comes down to, doll choices, aesthetics, them not really. It felt at times like they didn't know what they wanted to do with Andy or Kyle, and they just felt like they had to put them there. And I think that's why they didn't show up in season three. We really got to a point in this season where a lot of folks were wondering, well, wait, when does Andy and Kyle show up? And the answer is they don't. They don't show up because this story isn't theirs. And I think they probably realized that with season two, and we're like, all right, let's whittle this down. Nika only shows up for what I think 3 episodes in this season. Caroline, I think, is only present for what 3 episodes. She's in like the very beginning of the season. She's in another episode when he's going to the White House, and then she shows up for the finale, and that's it. Like, this season was very trio focused, and I think that's what I liked about it. In that aspect of I knew what we were doing and who we were following, and it felt tight knit in that way. They didn't feel the need to include Andy Barkley just because he's Andy Barkley, which I'm fine with. If for Andy to show up, I want him to show up with purpose. And with the idea of having a new movie and with season 4, there's a lot of like right now with the push for season 4, which by the way, call that number. We're pushing for season 4. At least I am. Look, I get it. I get that, this TV series might not be everybody's bag, but I think they have opportunities to do fun stuff. I think that Chucky is a series that even the people who don't agree with what it continues to do are still able to find something in it. And I love those people who were like, all right, yeah, it's not like my favorite Chucky, but they do something I enjoyed, or they this part of it happens, or it harkens back to this thing that is my favorite part of the series. Because everybody has a different favorite part of the franchise. Not everybody's favorite is Child's Play 2. Not everybody's favorite is Bride of Chucky. Everybody has a different favorite part of it. So, there's so many characters that I think people still want to see. Like, I'm not going to stop until we see Karen and Mike Norris again. I'm just not. Like, there's no way. Like, I don't know. It sounds weird, but I think we need to see Karen again at some point. I think Karen is an unsung hero of the entire franchise, and I want to see. I just want to, I want her to be acknowledged, I guess, in that way, um, if that makes sense. But I want to see these people show up, not just show up for the sake of showing up, like Marvel cameo wise, but like De Silva. De Silva's got to be a character you can utilize. De Silva's also, you could have a love foil for Andy. You could actually have tension there. Andy could have a happy ending. Actually, he could walk off into the sunset, and have the prospect of like, oh yeah, like I don't have to worry about this. And I think that's what they want. It's a unfortunate thing of trying to have your cake and eat it too, because it's like they want Andy to walk off into the sunset and be completely safe and to have defeated the evil, but Chucky always comes back. So it's hard to have that at the same time. Sometimes you just have to accept that, yeah, Chucky's out here killing people and Angie's just not really involved or, privy to it at the moment. Sorry. I was getting Instagram notifications. It kept going, so I had to check it. I'd really like to see De Silva back. So with the end of this episode, so at the end of this episode, we meet Wendell Wilkins, the inventor of the Good Guy doll, which we absolutely did not get anything talking about Play Pals toys. Bummer. Again, see, I have complaints. See, look, I'm not just a fucking sycophant. But Wendell Wilkins walks in. He has this creepy dollhouse of dolls that he's created, and in it he has the very original prototype for the Good Guy doll, which is funny because like I saw that movie back then. I know what that doll looked like. It doesn't look like that. So again, all the people who know the differences between the dolls we're adjusting our glasses and be like, well, actually, the face shouldn't look like that. The hair's all different. Overalls are off. Uh, but I thought that's fun. Is that the doll that Chucky is now inhabiting is the original prototype? It'd be funny, like I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but look up the original prototype of. See, this is why I wish I had like Streamlabs hooked up right now. Look up the original prototype of the Good Guy doll, and he's got like this like elongated face, like this huge mouth. It's insane looking. But wouldn't it have been crazy if Wendell would have pulled that shit out and been like, "This is what I've got," and Chucky's like, "I'm not using that. I want a regular one." Uh, Yeah, his son's name was Tommy. I saw some people talking about what if Chucky killed Wendell's son, but Chucky, as we know him, as far as I know, doesn't like actively kill kids. Like he will when it's necessary, which is so fucked up. Again, like we're talking about the morality of a guy who will quote kill kids when necessary. I also like these keep getting demonetized, and it's got to be because it's triggering words like that. But whatever. Yeah, I didn't really get it either. And I think also, like, I think season one of Chucky does a good job to let you know that sometimes the world and the people in it are just fucked up. There's no reason for it. Sometimes people are just wired that way. And you get that when you find out that Charles Lee Ray was really inspired by just a random serial killer breaking into his house and murdering his father. People kill people. It's not just Chucky. Other people kill people. But John Waters did so good. To see John Waters back, he was talking about Dead Family, and I'm not gonna lie, for a hot second, I was like, "Is he gonna talk about Pete Peters?" Like, I thought that would have been crazy, but they did not go with it, which is fine. I get it because you can only jerk yourself off with the same actors enough, and they already did it with Devon Sawa in season 2 with him acknowledging that he looks like his dad. Um, you can only do so much. I get it. But I loved seeing John Waters back. I loved the set piece of the dollhouse. I thought it looked pretty good. Um, and to hear him talk about it of like, oh yeah, and then the murders in 1988, and it ruined me financially and everything and psychologically. So now I'm in love with Chucky, and I think that's great. I'm totally fine with that. Um, yeah, I absolutely like it because it's his doll. You know, it expands lore. No matter how you look at it, it still expands lore to realize that, when that white-haired guy who was, having all these board meetings and stuff about, are they going to continue the good guy doll and are they going to bring it back? You had this toy designer in the back who really was just getting his whole shit wrecked. What is this? You guys see this? It's like a circle glare. It's appeared. It's a fucking ghost. What the hell? Joseph? Goddamn, J.J. Abrams is filming this live stream. Crazy. You see? Yeah, see? Yeah. The fuck? Yeah. I didn't do that. That's not me. That's so weird. Is it a dead spot in my camera? Yeah, it's just on my actual camera. Must be like a dust thing. I'm not going to worry about it right now. We're not. There we go. Oh yeah, something just had to have like fallen onto my camera, and now it's just fucking with it. Yeah, now it's gone. Holy shit. That's crazy. Y'all saw that, right? It like appeared and then vanished. Charles Lee Ray? Charles Lee Ray? Yeah, fucking Ghost of Abraham Lincoln's coming in here to be like, I want to talk about Chucky season 3. I'm here to talk about my cameo in season 3. All right, cool. I'm glad I'm not fucking insane. I'm glad y'all saw that. Fucking weird. I don't know much about like real life spiritual like things like that. I know some people believe in the spirit ball. I don't know. Some people believe in shapes of people. I don't know. If anybody believes in that, let me know what that was. Let me know if that was J.J. Abrams' lighting style, or if we just got visited. Crazy. I don't remember what we were talking about. Oh, we were talking about John Waters and his killed kid. That's what it was. That's what we were talking about. God, all the buzzwords that the live stream is going to tick. What the fuck? This is the most unorganized thing ever. I'm looking at my notes. Let's see what we got. Let's see what I didn't cover yet. Oh, Damballa. So the end of the episode, Caroline comes in. She's got the Voodoo for Dummies book. And totally cool, totally fine. I love that. And I think we might have talked about this in a previous week that we more rather figured that Caroline might have something to do with it. Maybe she would be able to move the soul to that body. But it was very cool to see Caroline actually do the chant. She got to do the Adedue Damballa chant. And the way it worked was interesting to see Jake possessed, but then like his soul is still there. Like technically inside the body to where he didn't have to go back to the body, he just woke up. But to see Chucky alive again, wouldn't it be something if she put Chucky's soul into that body and then it immediately started to age again, where Dumbledore is like, no, dude, like we just went over this. Like, fuck you. Like you're not doing this. No. I think that would be funny as far as like if they would have pulled off it as like a small gag and then be like, just kidding. But yeah, the through line of that is like, does that mean that they're fine? Like he was like, give me a show in the White House, and then that was it. Yeah, I guess Damballa was like, all right, cool. Look, it was pretty cool what you did in the White House. This little girl put you back in the body. I'll let you. I guess you're back in, but just don't do anything fucked up, and we'll consider it even Steven. Yeah, so I guess he's just cool with Damballa again. Now I think it'd be interesting if it's like, oh well, he can't use Damballa, like he can't use the magic. I don't know what you would do with that, but I think it'd be very interesting. But I think also it'd be boring if you had a Chucky who absolutely couldn't do anything. Going into next season as well. So with Caroline, Caroline has gone. Yeah, because there's no like moment where he's like, oh yeah, like here's your powers back. If if it was established of, all right, if you do X, Y, and Z, and if you find a way back, like, or X, Y, Z, your spirit will be cleansed, but I'm not bringing you back. You have to find the way back. And if he would have done that through Jake, then going into this, when we know, oh, Jake's body's about to be dead, is going to get, like, it would have kind of built up, I guess, maybe the obviousness of Chucky possessing him, but it would have also built in of, oh, well, now we know what this means and the importance of him actually doing this, why he has the goal of doing it. So Caroline as well. I think it's so funny that Lexi spent the entire season wondering, where's Caroline? I need to find my sister. Where's my sister? And her sister shows up for about 3.5 minutes at the very end of the season to say, I'm actually super fucking evil. Goodbye. And completely fucks off. I think they are doubling down. That could have been it, because he did technically kill somebody. So I mean, yeah, it could have been all the bodies he was stacking in the White House after the point of his doll body dying. They kind of counted towards it. But I think they are doubling down on Caroline, like, being evil, which is curious because I don't know what you do with her in the future, and I don't know if you can kill her specifically. I mean, okay, sure they can, but for what and for what reason? So I think Caroline is like the best wild card that they have, because me myself, I see theories online of people being like, I think Caroline's gonna be Chucky, and I think they're gonna, they're gonna phase out. Everyone's always talking about how Brad Dourif is getting older, and it's no secret that Brad Dourif is getting older. But it's like Don Mancini has actively said, when there's no more Brad Dourif, there's no more Chucky. Like, it's not. So we have to get what we have when we have Brad. I don't think they're priming Caroline. Whoops. I don't think that they are priming Caroline. I keep throwing this thing on the ground. Oh my god. I don't think they're priming Caroline to take over as Chucky full time or anything like that. But I do see the thought process. But more so with that, that's why I don't think they're gonna prime her up to be Chucky. So I'm really curious if that's not what they're gonna do, what the fuck are they gonna do? Because yeah, they already went for the killer kid aspect once, and like immediately gave up on it. I wouldn't say immediately gave up on it. They never really had an opportunity to get to it. It was with Alice. But again, like, how you would have had to take time out of, maybe even both movies to show that. And I don't know. I just feel bad for Summer Hal. But curious yeah. No idea where they're going to take Caroline. I'm curious who they're going to have Devon Sawa play next. I'm sure whether or not we get a season 4 or a movie. Probably both. I'm really curious to see who he's going to play. I think it's about time too. I think it's time that Devon Sawa got his legacy character. I know that the gimmick is he always shows up and plays a different character and dies. But I think that's what they're gonna do in season 4. So season 3 changed up the formula because Grant survived. The 4th member of the kids group did not die. Season 1, it was Junior. Season 2, it was Nadine. Season 3, Grant lived. So I do think Grant will be back, but I think that's what you could subvert in season 4 is Devon Sawa's character doesn't die, he lives. That's where you can make things different, spice it up for the people that are paying attention. I also think Devon Sawa deserves it. So when it comes to characters and actually coming back for season 4, Tiffany. So we have doll Tiffany. What about human Tiffany? Like, are they just have Jennifer Tilly on set? Are they like, is she not like? I'm really curious what they're gonna do about that, because are they gonna be able to create another role for Jennifer Tilly? And even if they do, I think it's gonna take, like, you want to talk about suspension of disbelief? That is gonna be suspension of disbelief. To be like, all right, no, that's Jennifer Tilly, and she's not playing Tiffany or Jennifer Tilly. That would be hard. So I don't know if you can get her back in another role. My personal theory, my personal feelings on the matter is I don't know what point or through line of this is. Maybe it'll be for a spinoff. Maybe it'll be for something they'll explain later, or maybe we just won't cover it right now. but we jump from her getting the Belle doll. Yeah, unless it's her sister. We could get her actually playing her sister. Um, I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with that. And we don't have to see her all the time, once or twice a season. Um, but what I'm kind of thinking at the moment is she gets the Belle doll, and like the one of the next few scenes or shots is them speeding away in Tiffany's car, and she's in the doll. We never see a body. We never see the spell happen. We never see Jennifer Tilly lifeless. And we know that they can split their souls. I'm just saying. The fact that this series will actively kill characters sometimes, and they'll still bring them back. Andy, Kyle, they've dismembered Nika, and they keep coming back. We didn't even see a body. Like, the fact that we didn't see a body, I think, is the biggest indicator of, like, they're going to do something interesting. I saw Jennifer Tilly talk about it today, in like an interview thing, and she was talking about, like, Don Mancini. She was asking, like, well, if we're bringing the doll back, then like, what's the idea? And he's like, you'll have to wait and see. So I am curious what his plan is. I hope he's not like, well, just you can stay at home this year, Jennifer. But again, who really knows? But yeah, I am slightly convinced that she transferred her soul into that doll, but she's gonna try. Like, Tiffany might get in trouble by trying to have her cake and eat it too, by trying to remain Jennifer Tilly and remain this doll. But again, at that point, what's the point? Even if human Jennifer Tilly scanters away and gets herself killed at some point, then doll Tiffany still exists. So speaking of dolls in season 4, so what does everybody think of the trio getting actually turned into dolls at the end of the season? I think it's one of the trippiest things that this season's ever done, or this series has ever done. It's insane. I would love that. I would absolutely love. Also, welcome, man. I don't know if you've been here, but welcome. Good to see you. I would love to see them all back together as dolls. Like, again, when they were talking about, like, we can be a family again. I want to see that. I want to see it really bad. Now, I am curious because Tiffany's a killer and Chucky's a killer. I don't think Gigi's a killer. Gigi strikes me as the type of person that's like, I'll kill as necessary, but I still don't think Gigi's like a serial killer. So for all three of them to be together as a family, I'm curious what that would mean, what that would, we know that Glenda would kill when necessary and not really feel bad about it. Kind of have some conflict, but again, with having that, I don't know what they'll do with that. I'd love to see the dynamic of Gigi kind of just like over their parents, more rather. I'm sorry, and just being like, oh, like, you guys are still like this. You guys still are not over this. Okay, like treating it as a phase, like doing the inverse parental child thing. Oh, yeah. So Fiona did really great in this. I want to talk about Fiona a little bit more as well. But okay, so with those dolls, um, first and foremost, I get it. They look a little weird. They look a little silly. I agree. But I did see some folks talking about, like, why did they change it? If they sculpted these to look like them, why did they change it? Why did they do all this? And it was like, if you look at them, Jake has more of Zachary Arthur's like actual face CGI'd, and then Bjorgvin's as well. But then, like, Lexi's has, like, it's not a lot of Olivia's face in there. It looks more dollish than the other two. So I think they always had this idea of imposing their actual faces over the dolls and just kind of tweaking how much they were. And that's just kind of what we ended up with. I'm curious too about their bodies. And I'm curious as well. All right, so their bodies, right? If their souls are outside of their bodies for, I would assume, really any amount of time, that the body would die, right? Like, we saw that with Gigi, with Glenda in season 2. By the time the nurse walked into the hospital room, the bodies were fucking blue. So I would think that that would happen immediately. So I'm wondering, are their souls out of their bodies, or have they been somehow turned, like, physically turned into, or like sealed completely inside of these dolls. Now I know that that sounds very weird, but again, we're talking about the Killer Doll TV show. It's weird. It's all weird. Um, but that's my thinking of it, because once you get them out of their bodies, you kind of kill them, and it'd be really hard to get three identical people just like them back to repossess, and none of those characters would ever do that. So that's kind of people talking about, like, when are they going to get Fiona a new body? Well, they won't, because Nika as a character would never willingly live as a possessed version of somebody. Um, yeah, that's exactly my thought process. Is they look too lively. Like they were definitely trying to express them as like the characters with those faces. So intentionally creepy and intentionally like that. So yeah, I'm thinking that is them to a degree. Why they're either turned into them physically, fucking alchemy. I don't know. Um I don't know. I'm curious about that, whether or not it'll get resolved quickly or not, for two reasons. One, Fiona Dourif has been pushing a lot for season 4. Now I know all of them are, and I know that they love this, and this is their bread and butter. They all want work. They all want to keep doing this. Um, but Fiona Dourif has had a lot of like interviews recently about this, and about this series, and she's talked about, like, I think it'd be fun for them to give Nika some limbs finally, and I can kind of see that they're not running into a wall, but with Tiffany's escape, which, by the way, I want everybody to, if you take anything away from this live stream or from season three's finale, anything, one thing, I want you to take this. Tiffany Valentine was strapped to the execution table with an audience, with the needle in her arm, and she still got away. That is a fucking femme fatale. That is how it's done. Your favorites could never. That is why fucking Tiffany Valentine is my favorite. That's why she's my fucking girl. I just love that. Like, I love that you can put that now. She was on the execution table and she escaped. Fucking awesome. Sorry, had to. Because she deserves it. So again, I think a lot of people would think that, oh, well, that's silly. Cool. I think it's awesome. Again, it's silly. We're talking about the Killer Doll show. Like, again, I think that's, like, I have a lot of suspension of disbelief with this series, but I love it too. She got her own title card with it, and Jennifer Tilly. But to get back to Fiona really quick, it seems like with Tiffany's escape, like, where she's in a wheelchair, and like obviously Nika, I think, is always going to be like, I don't think that is what disables her, I guess, literally. It's the arms. It's the fact of, like, you'd be able to work around that, but with no limbs, you are, to, again, suspension of disbelief, realistically kind of hindered to be able to really do much with that. That's what a lot of people are saying. So I'm really hoping. She seems really excited about a season 4, and I do think it's about time for Nika to come back to the real forefront. I think you and everybody else, I would love to see a half season, whatever it is, spearheaded by Nika. I think that'd be great. So then there's the idea of, what is Wendell Wilkins going to do to Nika? What is he going to do? I saw one really, really good point that I don't remember where I saw it. I wish I remembered. Saw a really good point that was, it could be terrible, because Wendell could see Nika, limbless, kind of helpless. He might be seeing Nika as a living doll, and capture her in that sense. I think what should happen here is this season should befall the trio. And I think we need to stop shitting on Nika. I think we need to give Nika an up. So I think this is a great opportunity to, like, have Wendell kind of take some pity on her. I think this is the opportunity to give Nika some limbs. I've always thought that maybe they could do something weird like voodoo, or maybe as Chucky would do something in the body and whatever. Chucky's not there anymore. Can't do that. Introduce Wendell Wilkins, who takes pity and maybe even tries to help Nika, and she gets some doll limbs. And it wouldn't even be the weirdest thing the series has done, not even fucking close. Isn't that fun? Isn't that awesome? It wouldn't even be close. Um, yeah, because that's the thing. It would work if done right. So I'm curious, like, all right, so for Nika, she's got this much of an arm, right? So you build in an elbow and then the actual hand. So, all right, how much of the fingers have dexterity? Now I'm willing to believe like enough, but again, just like how does it work? Um, I would think that if Nika is going to get a prominent role in this season, they have to find a way, not just because of, Fiona Dourif's explicit once, but like you do, like we've kind of run into it where you do hit a wall with Nika as a character and her productivity and what she's able to do. Um, and not even like I guess specifically do it. It's just like efficiently. Like again, she's able to chase Tiffany, but you know, the other thing as well, what a lot of the point is it because she still can't walk. She like no matter what, she's still paraplegic. So I don't know what they would do with the leg portion. I don't know if they would even think or care about that. But yeah. Yeah, the kids really did fail. The kids also need to take the hint. I think the kids like that's where the kids need to hit where I think characters like Andy and especially Nika have hit where they've acknowledged that they failed. They've acknowledged that all right, like I'm in over my head maybe a little bit. It doesn't let characters like Nika doesn't deter her. Andy comes back and he's always prepared, but they've never had the moment of like all right, like I've got to live my life a little bit. And I think the season was the perfect opportunity for them to do so, and they just didn't. They chose to chase after Caroline, who chose to go with Chucky. They chose to, oh, let's try and go fucking kill Chucky, even though we know he's already dying. What the fuck were y'all doing that for anyway? You should have just left him alone. Um, but yeah, I'm curious. I think season 4, I think that's how you do it. You have the trio indisposed in these doll forms, and they will get saved. They're not dead. Like, I'm convinced they're not dead, but they're sidelined in the perfect opportunity to have Nika and Andy and Kyle and anybody else show up and to be like, all right, let's do something about this. Um, there's a lot of things you could do. You can even have Nika, leaving Wendell's house and then leaving the kids there and being like, "No, like we'll come back for you guys, but like you're safer here technically than you are, running around with us at this point." Um, but yeah. I think you'd have to make them look like doll limbs. I think you'd have to like wear some type of sleeve or anything like that. Whatever the way I quantified it was they would have to do something to make them look doll like, but whatever they would do would be less than what they're having to do now with having to fully like green screen CGI, wear the arm prosthetics, and they're doing a lot. Man, they really fucked Nika up. See, that's the other thing too. This series, I have complaints. I was really curious what they were gonna do with Nika and her being limbless. Um, it really didn't really like go anywhere. They kind of did it just for like shock value. It felt like. So they always do stuff like that. Um, not a fan of shock value scares or permanent changes like that, especially when it's a final girl. Like Nika. Fiona Dourif was talking about it recently, how she feels that, Nika is a final girl of Chucky. And she is. I would say that she is the final girl of Chucky. Like, yes, of course, there's Tiffany, but Tiffany's one of the killers, so she can't really be a final girl. Um, but it's Nika. It comes to Nika. Nika, the if you're gonna have three final girls for Chucky, in my opinion, it's Kyle, Nika, and Karen. Those are like that's it. Um, so to completely fuck over who is ostensibly your main final girl in Nika, yeah, I think it's interesting that I guess we're seeing the repercussions of that, and I think it validates people who complained about it way back in 2021 when it happened. Um, So yeah, I was curious where they would go with it. They just didn't really go too many places with it. Speaking of season 4 at this point, like, do you guys think it's happening? The ratings for this season were solid. It's been trending for 4 days, the renew Chucky hashtag. The networks keep posting about Chucky. Dom Mancini keeps posting about it. Fucking Fiona Dourif and Jennifer Tilly and Devon Sawa and Alex Vincent, everybody's posting every hour renew Chucky. Like, I think it's pretty likely, but I don't know. That's a really good point too, and I wonder how you can like play with that. Yeah, she would just kill them. Hmm. I think the way you limit that is you just have to juxtapose Nika with other characters. Instead of putting her physical disabilities between her and Chucky or her and Tiffany, make it somebody else. Make it Andy. Knowing that it won't work. We have to do this way or whatever. Um, just story wise, I think there's we can overcome that obstacle by maybe putting something else into there. Um, No, I think that's fair. I think that's good. I think that's good thinking. I think that's logical. Because again, like only a few weeks ago, we were talking like, oh well, we're getting a movie, so maybe there won't be a season 4. And now we are here a couple weeks later, hearing that no, season 4 has been pitched. They do want to do a season 4, and everybody, the entire crew, the entire cast, everybody is screaming for it, and it's really impressive because back in late 2022. I was tweeting Renew Chucky, and to see it like just I open up my Twitter feed and my following and my For You is nothing but that right now, and that is great to see. That is beautiful to see. So the push for Renew Chucky into for a season 4 is much higher, it seems, than it was for season 3, and we did get that season 3. It took a few months for them to approve it, but we got it. So yeah, he needs his 4th term. So I agree. I think I did see somebody, I think it was Critical Overlord, said before the episode came out that, tonight is going to end with either a teaser for season 4 or a full-blown announcement. I think it's the weekend now. I think Fiona Dourif said that they're deliberating on it like soon, like they're deciding it. Whether or not. So they're going to be having meetings, I'm sure, in the next week, looking at the social media, looking at the live views, looking at the Peacock ratings, looking at a million and one different metrics and variables to say, are we going to do it? But yeah, I think if we got season 3, I think the demand for season 4 is way higher than the demand for season 2 or 3 was. Now people are invested. Now we're here. Now we're like, all right, this shit's weird, but like, what are you going to do? Get it this fall. Dude, that's the other thing I'm curious about. So like I can tell that the networks hate having this premiere in April and May. They want this to be premiering in the fall. But if they were working on season 4, they'd be having to go back to work like right about now, which they can. I'll be fine with it. But that'd be a lot. That'd be, what is that, 12 episodes of Chucky in a year? That'd be a lot. 12 hours of Chucky in a year. Half a fucking day in a single year. I don't know if we could handle that. I don't know if we're worthy. Have we been good enough? But I do agree that we'll probably get the season 4 announcement, and then season 4 will probably happen, and then I am curious because if we're going to get a movie, I am curious if season 4 will be announced or ever be titled as like the 4th and final season. Or maybe it will break. Maybe they'll do season 4, break for the movie, and then come back, without an open cancellation or renewal. I don't know how showbiz works in that way. See, as much as I'd like to, I don't work in it. So, don't know how they do that type of thing. But I'd love to know whatever I can do to get Chucky back on fucking TVs this next year. Let me know. All I can do right now is post a little hashtag, so I'm doing what I can. It's rough out here. But what a crazy season. What an absolute wild fucking season. I'm curious what he means by in tandem. Now, again, I take that as it could be a spinoff, but um, I'm wondering if also what he means by that is it's all consistent. It's all the same story. It all takes place in the same universe. I'm wondering if that's what he means. But yeah, Don, call me up. Let me know, Don. Like let's connect. Yeah, the Chucky cinematic universe. I'll take it. Chucky season 4 coming next year, followed by the Tiffany spinoff movie, followed by Chucky season 5, followed by theatrical release Child's Play 8. Like, I'm fucking there. I'll go see it. Give us a goddamn spinoff of Charles Lee Ray and Tiffany living in Chicago. I'm there. I'll go see it. Child's Play Endgame. Fucking portals opening up. You got Stitch Chucky, you got Human Tiffany. You got both versions of John Waters coming out. They even get Katherine Heigl back. That's how you know it's serious. They even got fucking Katherine Heigl back. I want to see Nick Stable back. I want to see Jesse back. Love Bride of Chucky. I think that dude's cool. That dude is also like interacted. I don't know to what degree, but through Twitter or whatever, interacted with Dom Mancini. So like, come on, man. Yeah, he would come back. Love to see him. But yeah, crazy season. I think this season was absolutely wonderful. I think it was wild. And again, like you said earlier, like I'm just so thankful for it. I am so incredibly thankful for it. Just what a great time. I'm going to start winding down, I think, here. Mostly because talked a lot about this episode. I'm also getting a little tired. And we're talking so much about this that like I really enjoy doing these live streams. I want to come back and do it. Won't be a talk of Chucky, but definitely going to be doing more live streams in the future. I do have some more videos. I had this edit thing I wanted to get done before the finale. I decided to not rush it. I decided that it's another little Chucky piece to share in between the main pieces, so there's no reason to rush it. But I have some other stuff like that coming. But this show just continues to be, to me, incredibly special, and obviously to you guys and to the folks that enjoy it. Like, again, I can't like say it enough that like I love horror and I love Chucky. So the fact that we're at a point in time where horror is huge, horror is big, and our guy gets to be on top of it, and he is ruling TV every fucking week. He's trending on shit just so people can demand to get his other season, a brand new season for it. It's a really special time. I like to think also that people have always talked about, who's the Mount Rushmore of horror. You have Freddy and you have Jason and you have Michael, and those are your Mount Rushmore slashers, more rather. Who's the fourth? And it's very obvious that it's our guy. With the title sequence for this episode, actually, being Chucky Mount Rushmore, felt very punctual for that whole thing. An inventive season. I love that Don Mancini never lets anybody. Don Mancini and his team. He does have a writing team for this season. I think a lot of people are always excited to just yell at him, but no, he does have a team, and I love that him and this team are always willing to go weird places, interesting places, to go to the White House. Will we go to space? I have no idea. I like to say probably not, but man, if you would have again made me guess half the stuff that happened in this season we just got, there's no way I would have been able to. Not in a million fucking years. And I love that. That's the way I like it. I like being along for the ride. It's not fun when you're able to guess everything and you know what's about to happen. I like to sit there and be like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I love that. That's fun for me. Excuse me. Oh my lord. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Thank you. Holy shit. I got hit with the full gambit of 4. I'm one of those weirdos that sneezes multiple times, obviously. It's usually 3, but I got fucked with the 4 this time on live. So now it's documented forever. I can't cut it out like I can with a video. That's all. I appreciate you coming in here, Mario. Again, it has been so fun to talk about this season in this series, and we're not done. Like again, this season might be done, and this one might be 4 sneezes for fucking season 4. That's how. You're right. It's in my blood. My goddamn, you know, pollen levels and genetics are telling you renew Chucky. Yeah, I tend to lean towards I don't think they'll go to space, but again, who fucking knows? Who fucking knows at this point? It really is. Exactly that. Like hearing that a Chucky TV show is was in the works. Like I went back recently and was watched the original teaser from. It was posted in like July of 2020. The one where it's literally just the title announcement, and it's just like in a toy store, and it pans to the end, and it was the announcement that it was going to be on 2 networks, and we've come so far, so far. And I think it's easy to take for granted. I think and exactly, like look at us now. Like 3 seasons in, we are championing for a season 4 that we are more than likely going to get with the support of, of the fucking networks, which is hard to get. Um I think it's really easy to be spoiled on these types of things. We are in an age, especially with media and media consumption, of instant gratification. With streaming dumping seasons of worth of television on in a single day, um, we're lucky to be in this type of scenario for it to work as well as it does. I remember years ago, I mean years ago, predating the Child's Play reboot, or I'm sorry, not reboot, remake in 2019. It was talked about, only a little bit after Cult of Chucky, that they were planning a TV series was the next idea. And to see that go from like concept that, Fiona Dorff was talking about it. You can go back and look at panels at conventions early before it was just talks amongst them pretty much as friends, and her saying, that there's some great ideas and you guys are going to love it. And then that remake comes out and, kind of derails. I don't know what it could have derailed or anything, but I do know that they were working on the series. That happened, and then we didn't hear anything about the series for quite a while. And yeah, it all worked out. It all worked out. I understand that the TV series is not everybody's cup of tea, and I wish it was, mostly because I love Chucky, and I know that people who watch the series and are disappointed with it, I know that they love Chucky too, and I respect that. I want it to be as good as it can be. I do think a lot of this is decent. Maybe season 4 will suck. Maybe it'll be awful. Maybe they'll finally get me. Maybe they'll finally scare me away and piss me off. But I try not to be a fan like that. I think again, these days in fandoms, it's so easy to talk about the stuff you don't like. It's so easy to rant about the shit that you hated in the movies you don't like and this and that. But again, like I'm here to have talk of Chucky to talk about the TV series that I love. I'm not here to have talk of Chucky to talk about the remake that, you know, we might feel certain ways about. Um, I guess that's my thing. For example, like the remake, I'm not a big fan of it or its existence, but I go out of my way to make sure that people who are fans of it don't feel alienated. I don't want people to, feel like they're dumb for enjoying it. But goddamn, do people want to make you feel fucking stupid if you like the TV series? And that's what I don't want to do. That's why I guess try to construct conversations the way I do. It's really easy to talk about the stuff you don't like, and I think it's fair. But I think it's also talk about the stuff you don't like in a constructive way. I'll talk about all day about how Chucky season 2 completely shit on the Tiffany doll, and for no reason, for zero fucking reason, just for some slapstick fucking jokes. But at the end of the day, We're eating so much better than Friday fans. We're eating so much better than Nightmare fans. We're eating, some would say we're eating better than Halloween fans, even though they just got a trilogy. A lot of people hated that third part. I didn't. I thought it was fine. We're eating pretty damn good, all things considered. And I think the future is bright as far as what we could get. Season 4, we could be seeing a Nika-led season 4. And let people know that that's what you want to see. Dawn, I don't think Dawn is the type of person where if you keep saying, stop making Chucky campy, look, man, the campiness is not going anywhere. It just isn't. But, when they know that, hey, like, they knew that people were curious what happened to Andy. That's fan service. The Chucky movies are unlike other horror things that happen these days in which they're actively willing and able to give you that. Like, yes, there's other things doing that, but like Ash vs. Evil Dead got canceled. Scream 6 didn't even want to give Neve Campbell enough money to fucking show up. So like the fact that the Chucky, like in the Chucky series has 2 Oscar nominated actors who are in retirement coming back just for this, it's special. It's different. Exactly. He fucking, yeah, exactly. Gouged out his eyes. He fucking nuked Santa. Like, who has this stuff to their name? Like, he's killed people as a fucking ghost. Like, Chucky has now actively killed people in death. Can't be stopped. That's inventive. That's change. And I think that's what it is. It's always, the conversations are always bring Chucky back to his roots, which I understand. I think there's a way to do that. But I don't think Don Mancini and the writing team's interest is to keep Chucky where he is. I think it's what other places can we explore? And we really got to see that this season. We got to see fucking ghost Chucky killing people. That's fucking nuts. Like, write that down. Take most of the ideas from the TV series and write them down. They're fucking bonkers. And that's probably how they happen. They probably sit in a room and somebody says something and everyone goes, holy shit, what if we made that work? That's how writing rooms work. I get that. But yeah, the care that's gone into it. The fact that, we're this far into it and we're not sick of it. I like the Chucky TV series is interesting because I feel like the appetite for it has gotten larger. Like, again, going into season 3 has like less hype than leaving season 3, which is impressive, I think. But it is, like always a good time to be a Chucky fan. That's how I feel, Mario. Like, I'm always going to be here for it. I'm always going to love it. I think it's totally fine to, again, have aspects and have even large parts of it that you're like, I don't fuck with that. I don't like it. I'm going to ignore it or whatever. You don't have to like everything. You don't have to like everything. I would never want somebody to do that. It's just when people say that the TV series sucks, why does it suck? Let's talk about the why it sucks. Stuff like that. That's all. What about the characters do you dislike? What outside of it being woke garbage, which is a bullshit complaint anyway, that, then you're immediately telling me that, yeah. I just stop listening after you say any of that shit. Chucky is a campy guy. He is, let's just move this for a second. He is a voodoo possessed killer doll. It's going to be campy. Like, he fucking has a son and a goddamn wife. Like, it's weird. It's campy. So, and I think that's okay. I've talked about it a few weeks ago that it is totally okay to be a fan of Chucky and to not like the campy stuff, to like the serious stuff. That's totally fine. But just the people who continuously scream to say, make Chucky scary again. This shit sucks. This shit fucking sucks. Dead franchise. Don Mancini fucking ruined it. I think there's better ways to articulate that is all. That's my only thing. I think we can let people know these things. I think we're able to talk about it without screaming at Don Mancini on Twitter, without getting yelled at by Devon Sawa on Twitter, without annoying Jennifer Tilly on Twitter. I think that's why it's important, just I'm going to share a thumbs up, a hashtag, and some heart emojis and move on with it because there's enough people screaming about the other stuff for everybody. I think we need some people talking about the good stuff. Exactly. And I think that's where like Child's Play and Chucky as a foundation like works because like the first Child's Play it's a great horror film. It's not just a good Chucky movie. It's a great horror film. So it succeeds on every note that it needs to. And is very it's satisfying, I'd say, in those ways. He does. He has so much more personality, and he goes with the flow, and he's able to adapt. Like that's the thing. Chucky is the most adaptable of any of them, and I've said it before, but again, I get that everybody might be, everybody wants to yell at Don Mancini, but no matter what, Michael, Freddy, Jason, Leatherface, Pinhead, anybody, anybody, nobody, and I want to say in horror, but even I want to say in film like, there are few characters, few franchises, few series that exist like Chucky that are created and then exist naturally due to the public and then create a life of their own internally. And now you have this thing that's fueled by the Chucky family and the fans that equally love it. And you have this ongoing franchise that has been curated and cared for and just all of the passion put into it by every person who has hands in on it. It's incredibly special. It is, there's nothing like it. Of course, I'm sure there is, Phantasm, the guy who did Phantasm did all of those movies. I love a series like that where I can see somebody just go places. Like what are they gonna do? And I sue me, but I like Don Mancini. I don't know him as a person, but the way he speaks, his thoughts on things, I connect with it. I relate to it. I like him. So to get his expression through his art, sue me. I like it. But yeah. Yeah, especially Don. Like it's unmatched. And that's why again, like I think Chucky really stands out above all of them. He is unmatched in those ways. He has listened to people. He could bring back anybody back as Andy Barkley. It's not a studio calling the shots. He doesn't get pushed around by his producer buddy David Kirshner. They do it because they want to do it. And I think that's the funny thing too, is we saw a Child's Play project get made and drug out and created from a corpse from a different studio that just wanted the name pretty much. And we saw nothing happen with it. Now, again, nothing on the quality, totally cool. Enjoy that movie. But just in, studio wise and passion wise, like there's the comparison right there of let's make a Chucky movie. And then Don Mancini saying, let's make a Chucky movie. Now, again, there's different people and everyone's different tastes, and people are going to like the other one more than the Don Mancini one. That's fine. But me personally, I like what Don Mancini has to say about things. So I'm always going to be there to see what's he going to have Chucky do today. Absolutely. Like there's being a fan of things is an interesting feeling. So like people talk about it with Marvel fans, but like I was there for Infinity War. I was there for Endgame. I was there for all of the main MCU entries. Like I was there when Cap caught Mjolnir in Endgame. It was a theater experience. It's moments like that where you've been watching the series for 10 years and you are invested to a degree and it becomes gratifying. It's cathartic. You're like, holy shit. Like this whole journey, we got it. Like the thing that I wanted is there. And I will like the movie, one of my favorite movie watching experiences, and it wasn't even theatrical ever is Curse of Chucky. That movie is such like an insane love letter. An insane love letter to everything of Chucky that came before it. And that movie came out at a point where like in the years before I thought Chucky was dead. Like we were talking about remakes, like we were talking about all this other stuff. Like, they weren't ever going to talk about, Glenn or Tiffany, or like, Seed really seemed like it killed it. And then Curse of Chucky comes around, and God, like, I remember seeing the trailers and being like, his face, he looks weird. Like, he looks off. Like, why is his hairline different? And you have these shots in the trailer where his face looks blurry, and he's got these really dark circles that look superimposed around his eyes. And I remember sitting there thinking, like, did they remove his stitches? Does he actually have his stitches in this movie? And then I remember reminding myself, dude, that's fucking crazy. Like, this isn't Marvel. This isn't blockbuster territory. They're not doing that. So when I'm watching the fucking movie and Barb is up in the attic and she starts picking at the skin before she's even pulled it, I understand what's going on. 2 times in that movie. I'm watching this movie. I am 18. I'm an 18-year-old fucking kid watching this movie by myself in my bedroom at night, the day it comes out. And I'm watching on my PS3 because I had to buy it fucking digitally. I grabbed the controller and I paused it and I just stared at my TV as I realized what they were doing. I freaked the fuck out. And sure enough, she pulls that fucking stitch down. That was so cathartic in that moment. Yes, sure. It's cool to see the stitches. It wasn't just the stitches. What that tells you at that moment is this is not a remake. This is not a reboot. This is a sequel. Everything that you saw, loved, and maybe even hated before in Bride and Seed of Chucky, it happened. And it all gets revealed in that one moment. And the rest of the movie takes its time to reintroduce itself as the Child's Play franchise, to say, this is what we've done so far. This is what we have. And here's where we're going. I think that movie does it so fucking well. Because you have that reveal where you realize, oh my God, he's got his stitches. It's the same Chucky. And then it slowly gets into your face. Because you have other points of it earlier. You see human Charles Lee Ray. We talk about Andy. We see some newspaper clippings of Andy. But even still, far removed, 20 some odd years ago at the time, whatever. And then we get into the hard canon of it. You even get a moment where Chucky says, there's been a lot of families over the years. The Barclays, the Kincaids, the Tillys. And like, holy shit. Like right there, he's actively just being like, yeah, those old movies, they all happened. Whether you liked them or not, they fucking happened. So that moment happens. And then imagine my surprise when the fucking climax of the movie is happening. And there's there's a police officer looking at this evidence bag. And these shots are looking really familiar. And he's got this evidence bag in his passenger seat. And I spent half my fucking adolescent life watching Bride of Chucky. And I'm sitting there going, there's no way. There's no fucking way. There's no way. And sure enough, the moment the fucking file comes up, slices his throat, falls, and the blonde hair, you can see the black and the blonde hair. And she does the whole, they never learn. That's cinema, baby. The first time I picked up the controller, paused it, I threw that shit. I was geeking the fuck out. Again, you want to talk about a theater experience? When you're in a theater full of nerds excited because Captain America caught Mjolnir, that's a moment. All right. But being by yourself in your room, watching it with nobody, and to have reactions like that, my point is that I love this series. I always have, at least being a part of it like this. And there has been moments that like they're rewarding. And that's what like Curse of Chucky really is. It was a rewarding experience. And that's what a lot of this season or this series in general has been. It's rewarding. Things that you never think you'd see. And then stuff like this most recent episode where we finally got it. The Bride of Chucky is back. We had Chucky and Tiffany in doll form leaving to return something the series doesn't do, returning to that status quo of Chucky and Tiffany. We got the return of the Bride of Chucky. Like it's back. You have merchandise that they've been selling for years. You guys need to think about this. Tiffany has not been in the doll full time for over 19 years. 19 fucking years since Seed of Chucky. 20 years this year, actually. And they make merch of her all the time. And she's just now finally coming back. That is rewarding. That is like, we waited and we got it. Now, again, I want to see Jennifer Tilly in person still, but it's just like the full circle stuff that you just, as a fan, you hope for. A lot of people never get it. But we as Chucky fans, we are getting it. It's beautiful. Yeah, I like how in this series or in this season finale here that absolutely, yeah, she was, the doll is immediately in Tiffany form. So yeah, good stuff. Man. What a beautiful thing. Chucky's the fucking best, isn't he? Now again, I promise I like other horror. Again, look at this dope ass New Nightmare shirt. But again, when Chucky's my boy and he's having the time of his life, killing it on TV every week, that's what we're here for. And the other thing too about it is it's cathartic because like there's two things that really made like my YouTube channel exist. And there's a few other aspects of it, but as far as having something to talk about, it was Chucky. These new fancy dolls were coming out that I was super excited about, wanted to review them, wanted to talk about them because I had always wanted Chucky dolls. And then this TV series starts getting made. And well, that's fun to talk about. Talk about the production of it, talk about getting ready for it, theories, try to make some videos about that. And I don't know. It's silly, but again, like no matter what I cover here, I don't know. I don't always just be talking about Chucky. There's going to be other stuff. There's going to be other horror movies. One day, Freddy will come back. I want Freddy to come back. He will. He will come back. And I'll be talking about him too. But with Chucky being my absolute guy, I'm able to do this. Like Fizz TV exists because of the, of Chucky, because of these dolls, and because of this TV series. These are things that happened that made me want to create or wanted to have conversation about it in general. So I'm in like, I don't know, personally, I have a connection with it, I guess, because it's something I love very much. It's something doing this I've loved very much, and I still get to do it. It's not something that was in the past. Like, I'm so very lucky that we get to sit here and talk about the campaign for season 4. I'm so fucking lucky to be able to do that. That's privileged right there to be able to do that. So it has been a great fucking time to be a Chucky fan. But with all that, I am winded. I am tired. I woke up real early for work this morning. Had to go do an actual, because I don't make money off this really. I make a couple of dollars, but the real money comes from a 9 to 5. That's earlier than 9. So I'm gonna go ahead and start officially wrapping this up. Chucky and Freddy are my top 2 as well. I have a top 3 that I look at it as. My top 3 are Chucky, Freddy, and Michael. I love Michael. As a kid, I didn't appreciate Michael enough, but as an adult, I really love Michael. Very interesting, very brutal. Michael is somebody who I like his original, and I do like the remake. Obviously, even Freddy also, I like the remake enough to have that and have it signed. So, yeah, man, Freddy's the GOAT. The thing about Freddy and Chucky is they go together so well because they're both just funny guys. They're both just fucking, there to mess with you before it actually gets serious. Absolutely, JD, man. I seriously appreciate that because look at us. Look at us. I really appreciate that because again, like sitting here and being able to talk to you guys and making videos and stuff is one thing, but like I don't want to talk at people about Chucky. I do want to talk about it. So you guys showing up here each week and joining the conversation, and same thing, you being as excited to be able to, it makes me feel more sane to know that okay, no, it's not just like a just me thing. There's other people that get stoked about this and look forward to it each week, and then after the episode they want to talk about it, and all of that. Yeah, it's fun. It's the good part of what online communities and fandom should be, which is coming together to talk about the thing that you like, not to come together to talk about why the people who own it are fucking destroying it, which sometimes they are. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes they are. Warner Brothers Discovery. Sometimes they are, as far as like, when they create a movie and they lock it away forever. Yes, trust me. Sometimes people are evil in that way, and especially in entertainment, a lot of evil people. But I think we're lucky here in this situation. Oh, that's awesome, Mario. Was it the good guy doll hair? I think that's the one. I think that's the one custom video I've done so far. I need to. I want to again. I've not done anything else with this other than take the eye and yeah, yeah. I haven't done anything to take the eye and teeth out of this head here, but I'd like to document that. And again, I because of the aforementioned 9 to 5, I wish I could do stuff more regularly on here. So that's the other thing. The fact of like, I understand YouTube's a game that, if you want to make it big or whatever, I'm not here to do that. I'm here to talk about Chucky. Like, and if I have some successful videos and, people here who, as long as I have an audience that wants to, is entertained by the stuff that I have to say and by Chucky in general, horror in general, any of that, then like I'm succeeding. So the fact that you guys are here talking about it, the fact that you guys were able to find my channel, I'm incredibly thankful for it. And hell, who even knows? What you call it? Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's honestly awesome, Mario. I didn't know you had a toddler. That's fantastic. Really? That's crazy. I did not know that. See, Trick or Treat Studios, I swear to God that they don't pay. They never paid me. I actually don't think Trick or Treat Studios likes me. Oh, I said that on live. This is recorded. uh, but I think that I'm helping them out. But I hope you like them. I love both of the dolls. I have move my fat ass head. I got my plush with the wig up right up there, and then I've got my own ultimate. He's still set up with his Child's Play 3 get up, but I'm glad, guys. And again, I like these dolls. Like I shared honest opinions about them, because I do think they were awesome. So I hope that you dug them. I hope I did not mislead anybody into spending their hard-earned money, because it's a lot of money. Yeah, you give 2 sons. I'll go to conventions. I need to find a photo of it actually. I don't know if I have one specifically on deck, but I go to Dragon Con every year in Atlanta. And what I did, a joke, like not an in joke specifically, but I've like the Spencer's doll before. I've always said that, oh, that's my son, going to conventions with my friends. And now that I've got these actual good dolls, now I'm actually able to do that. Damn, let me find a picture. Went to Dragon Con last year, and they do this aquarium party thing. And I took my plush last year for the first time to Dragon. And it is. Damn, come on. I have too many pictures in here. Here we go. I'm trying to find a photo. There we go. This is me getting lit at the aquarium VIP party at Dragon with Chucky as my son. It's too bright. I bought one of those baby carriers, like hangover style carriers. And yeah, that's what we were doing. Howdy, y'all. Welcome, welcome. I do apologize. We're just talking about junk right now. I'm gonna be getting off here before too long. I've been going at it for just about 2 hours, so we'll be ending this right around the 2 hour mark. But I appreciate you, Byron and Nathan. Thank you guys for coming by. Feel free to hang out and uh, checking us out. Watch the VOD back by all means. Talk about the new episode. Talk about where we think it's gonna go to. Yeah, just some random stuff, honestly, with these fellas. You love them. I'm glad. I'm very glad, pup, because They're good dolls. They're very, very good dolls. Do I not, Mario? I thought I did on Instagram. Let me double check. I'm really bad at that. I'm really bad at that. Let me double check. No, holy shit. I'm fucking. I thought I did the day you showed me the Chucky Go Psycho. Yeah, I'm fucking like goofing. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. There you go. I just did it live. Now you can watch back this moment forever. Hold on. Yeah, because that's my bad. I totally thought we were. Yeah, I got to get better about that stuff. I swear to God, like I'm just a noodle. I just don't know how any of it works. But see, look, right there. Hit up Mario, y'all. Mario made look. He showed me this a little bit ago, but he actually has the fucking brightness again. Made an actual Blu-ray cover and case for Chucky Go Psycho. I saw you sent. I think you sent it to me. The uh people in the Chucky universe watching their copy of Chucky Go Psycho. Yeah, it's pretty good. Any hints of any future videos you have planned? Um, so the one edit I'm working on is kind of like a, I don't know how to describe. It's like a fan cam, I guess. It's like a music video, an AMV, pretty much. Because I like to do edits like that sometimes, and sometimes I get like a weird idea where I'll listen to a song and it'll I'll start to put pictures to it, and I have it in my head too much, so then I have to make it. Trying to think of specific videos. Oh, I would like to. There is. You can't see him. Yeah, he's in the case. You can't see him, but there's a NECA Chucky. I want to review the actual NECA Ultimate Chucky they made from the TV series. I want to review that. They also just revealed this past week a Christmas version from season 2. So I'd like to actually be able to review those figures. Covering the customization of this head once I actually get to it is one. I did film an unboxing that I should have. I actually filmed that unboxing a minute ago. It was filmed downstairs before that area got flooded. Um, and I haven't done anything with that yet because I wanted to really focus on the season 3 stuff. Trying to think. I am going to Days of the Dead in July in Indianapolis. They're going to have Brad Dourif, Fiona Dourif, and Alex Vincent. So like things like this Child's Play poster are going to get signed by Alex and Brad, and I'm definitely going to get Fiona and everything again too. I've in this right there. I have a NECA Chucky that's signed by most of the cast, including Brad, Fiona, and Alex. But I'm not going to pass up the chance to meet them again. So I'm going to be at Days of the Dead in Indianapolis in July. So if anybody's going to be there, I'll be there. Come say hi. Come say hi to Brad Dourif, obviously. And trying to think. I might make a video out of that. I've thought about it. I don't know exactly what I would do, but I'd very much like to document that somehow. Um, I always want to document when I go to these shows, but it's hard because when I'm there, I get so caught up in it and like I'm having so much fun that it's like the end of the day and I realize, oh, I didn't film anything. So that always kind of sucks. But stuff like that. The main thing is that I think I want to actively start working on are the retrospectives. These are things that I don't want to rush and they will take a long time to put out. But I've really I've thought about it for years now at this point. Of formulating my own long form retrospectives on each of the Child's Play films. Each of them getting their own video. I've wanted to do that with many, not just Child's Play either. I want to do that with Nightmare on Elm Street. I love those films. I want to do it with some of the Halloween films. I want to do it with many films to where I can kind of get into that. I don't want to say like a niche or anything, but I have a lot of feelings on these movies, and I think it would be great not only to make them, but I think it'd be great to learn about them. And like, so I got these books. Are they? They're kind of underneath some VHSs, so I'm not going to grab them. But I have 2 books right now that I have on hand that I'm reading through for Child's Play 1. And one of them is Tom Holland's visual memoir from Child's Play, and the other one is Reign of Chucky. And Reign of Chucky is a great book for just information throughout the entire franchise. I intend to use information from that for every single one of them. So that's the main project I want to say that I want to get done in the next year. Is I'd like to have one or two of those retrospectives actually like done and made. Um, yeah, they're really good books. I think I got both of them for Christmas. I think it was my mom. She hit me up for my Amazon wish list for Christmas last year, and I was like, "Here you go," and had those on it. And sure enough, I got the one at Christmas, and then the other one was like an IOU, and she was like, "Yeah, I ordered the other Chucky book, but it didn't get here." But I got it. I have it now. It was enough time, but yeah, it was very sweet of her to do that. She enables the addiction there that way. But yeah, that's kind of my idea right now. I do want to do more live streams because I think they're for what I want to, I guess, accomplish for what I like to do. Just talking Chucky with folks, I'd like to do that. I'd also like to be able to do live streams in the sense of like I can actually like I don't want to say do stuff, but like if I have Streamlabs or have my anything hooked up, like I might be able to do something a little more exciting than this. Hell, I think it'd be fun to stream playing what the fuck is that game called? The name of it just fucking left me, and I'm so mad. My background, this version of Tiffany is from Dead by Daylight. Holy fuck. God. I think it'd be fun to stream and play Dead by Daylight. Yes, there we go. Yes, thank you, pup. I think it'd be fun to do that, like, get Chucky and Tiffany and play that. So there's some just stuff. Just talking about Chucky is kind of my intention. That's my lock, or that's my home, but this is my lock. This poster goes so fucking hard. Look at that. Love that. So yeah, we got some stuff planned here. It's a little weird because like I don't have any dolls coming out that like need reviewed or anything, and it's also a little weird because like there's nothing announced. So maybe we should start yelling at NECA because NECA, you've had that license for a minute. Show me a doll. But yeah. But I appreciate you guys coming and joining. I hope that you'll be here in the future. I'll be here. We'll figure something out. It'll be fun. Whether we're talking about season 4, talking about the other movie, talking about yeah. it was pretty good. Seeing Brad and Fiona like actually interact and being able to act on screen with each other, just amazing. I'm curious if they'll make them too. They can make them like the Monster High dolls, and they'd work perfect. They're just marionettes. But yeah, I'd buy them. Hell yeah. I appreciate y'all. Thank you all again so much for joining me. Thank you for joining me for this whole season. Again, it's not a season of this, but a season of Chucky in general. I'm lucky. I'm thankful. I'm so thankful that we have this season, we have this series like I've drone on about, and I can share it with you guys. Thank you for joining me with it. Thank you for talking to me about it. And thank you for everything. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you if you watched this live. I appreciate you guys who joined me on the conversation throughout the whole thing. Anybody who watched live and didn't say anything, that's totally fine. By all means, I do that sometimes. I'm a lurker as well. I love you. I appreciate you. And I hope that you'll be back. I hope that I didn't alienate anybody. I hope I didn't make anybody too mad by, worshiping Don Mancini too much. Again, I do like Don Mancini. Sorry. But again, like if you didn't like something about the TV series, by all means, like let's talk about it. I'm totally down to talk about it. And if you liked something from it, let's talk about it. This season was wacky. The season was nutty. This season was a whole lot of stuff that I never thought I would see. And I am so glad that we did. Very, very, very cathartic. We loved it. So I as far as what I think will happen in season 4, I think Chucky will be in it. I think Tiffany will be in it, and I think Nika will be in it. That's pretty much all I've got so far. I know that sounds smart assy, but I'm actually kind of halfway serious because I have no idea where they're gonna go with it. I'm wondering if they're gonna have Caroline kill, but I guess we're gonna have to figure that out. But yeah, man, it's a great time. Absolutely, Mario, and I'll keep you guys updated. Again, I didn't know if I was going to be able to do this last night or tonight, so I held off on announcing this one. So, yeah, working a 9 to 5 and then having a hobby like this is hard. And even still, I was late to this, so I'm sorry. But, yeah, you guys have a great rest of your night. Have a great week. You know, it's our first week without Chucky this upcoming Wednesday. I hope you all will be strong. Be strong for me. Be strong for Dawn. Be strong for Tiffany. Be strong for Gigi. And yeah, subscribe if you enjoyed it. Hit me up on Instagram at DudeSpooter. We'll continue the conversations. Hit up the phone number. Let me see. What is that phone number actually? Need y'all to actually call that phone number. Yeah, there we go. Need y'all to actually call that number right there. 201-500-3347 and then text it. And jump on Twitter, Instagram, whatever you got, and hashtag renew Chucky. Hopefully we can get that season 4. Hopefully we can get that confirmation here sooner rather than later. Yeah, guys. Thank you so much. Love y'all. Have a great time. I'll see you next season. I'll see you next stream. And until then, keep watching some Chucky because it's always a great time to be a Chucky fan. Have a great night, y'all. Yeah, right. Chucky in the contacts. Doesn't get much better than that, right? Love the campiness. Have a great night.